Okay. Who wants to recall the last time we played, if you can remember? Or you can
dragon
cheat.
from the tower from 2 snakes.
Hmm.
And Gek is now super hungry.
Meanwhile, we rescued a bunch of bunnies, also from 2 snakes. Not in the
No,
way they
no,
thought.
no.
After Tomoros blew them up.
Not in the way they
Your
thought.
definition of rescue is very loose.
Listen, they didn't have to deal with the snakes.
They
They
weren't
also didn't have to
dealing
deal
with
with
the
life.
snakes.
We brought them back. In, like, the true sense, not the...
You managed to dispirit one of these bunnies so much that he wanted to die again.
I showed him what waits for him at the end of a long and fulfilled life.
And you denied him that by putting Sanctuary on.
Like I said, long and fulfilled.
Alrighty then. That kind of does sum everything up. And a little quarrel and quabble of a little bit of lore here and there.
Oh, and we have a fey dragon who's with us in a cage, and we have to go and get his key.
Yes, you do have to unlock me from my cage. Okay,
I feel like Key's dragon voice is just trying to do Tomoros.
Yeah, a little bit.
Maybe
Hey,
Tomoros is dragonborn. You don't know.
What? Yes!
Never. Alright, moving on. So, after that, and having Brandywine holding Sir Talavar, and kind of having him lead the way, you guys... This is going to be interesting with what the events are, because yes, you are going to Telemy Hill to find a goblin called Jingle Jingle. So, with that, Gek, or Noko,
Yes?
please, yes, please, I need you to roll me something.
What?
It's all on you, buddy. You
Wait, what me roll?
are going to roll me once I get my stinking notes corrected here. Okay, you're going to roll me a d8.
D8.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
We're all dead. Panic.
Jack goes on a rampage. Roll for initiative.
Doom
No.
music kicks in.
You're fine. So, as Sir Talavar is pretty much leading the way and giving some stories of his achievements over his service with the Summer Court.
Wait,
You
have we
guys...
started walking already?
Yes, you are walking. I have
shit,
yet to change anything.
I was gonna do the
So-
fine steed.
What kind of voice?
No, I was gonna do the fine steed. I threw it in chat at the end
Well,
of
yes,
the session.
you can summon the Fine Steed
Oh, while walking?
while walking.
Oh, neat. Never mind. Don't mind me.
What does it look like for the 10 minutes that you're casting this?
Just chanting to myself, family, family, family. No.
Do you have any more second level slots?
That is a good question.
Put this in chat last time. What else would I would have used it for? Let me see.
I mean, we did use a lot of spell slots last time.
Did we? I used almost nothing.
Tomoros
I
did.
used
Tomoros used a lot.
There's like 4 or 5 smites that went out there.
It's true.
and
look
Brandy's
back to the
might
log. I don't
is
remember using
second
anything.
level.
Oh no, I know I used Channel Divinity. Why did that not get taken down? Did we level up? That might be.
No.
We didn't.
No,
I
we
don't
didn't.
think it auto or decrements.
Channel
unless I get
Divinity
it set
doesn't.
up.
It should have, I think, but I don't know, 'cause I'm pretty sure I did a peaceful walk through the park.
You did. So
You did. You did do that.
I think I did
But
that. I
they-
think I did.
those also come.
So,
back
are you
on short
able to
rests.
channel your steed?
I don't know. I have no idea where I'm tracking spells.
Second tab or
Oh no.
spellbook tab.
Okay, so yeah, I I used 3 first level spells and only 1 second level, so I have 1 second level left.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So as you guys are all walking and everything, and regaling in the mystiques of Sir Talivar's stories, how do you conjure your steed, and what does it look like there, Tomaros?
So, Tomaros is sort of like walking at his normal pace. But he's just like, you see this intermittent glow coming from his helmet, and he's just like chanting under his breath. Where did I leave that horse? Where did I leave that horse? Join me, steed. Please, I need to find the steed. It's... Actually, that's supposed to be through the thing, but... I don't know how this is normally supposed to work. I thought it was just like, you think about it and it happens, but... Steed! 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 Come here, steed! I need a steed! Yeah.
After a while, whatever voice that you're calling out to, you eventually feel this warm glow around you, and then that light that you have been chanting underneath your mask peers through the slots and starts to form right in front of you in a very large manner.
I'm going to say that it doesn't form directly in front of us, like on the ground. It forms about like 6 feet up.
6 feet up.
And comes splashing into the swamp.
It looks quite confused as it's standing in this swampy water, but it turns its head to look at you.
How majestic. It's making bison noises. It is a bovine.
So how do all of you react?
From a golden bison with glowing eyes falling 6 feet out of the sky after materializing in front of you.
Oh my, Tomaros, is that yours?
Query, and I do say query. The fuck, Tomaros?
I have summoned a steed. I did not expect him to be so majestic.
Pretty sure steeds are horses, brother.
Anything
sure you did that right?
If it's large enough.
That's not necessarily true. The dwarves back home used to ride boars. You could call those a steed.
Peavy holds out his piece of paper towards the steed. Nothing will happen, but he does not know that. He is just following his program.
Hold on. Let me drive this point in a bit. It's going to bow down and use its horns to etch into the paper.
Ooh.
I assume that means it understands common.
Peace be with you then, steed brother.
But what do we call you, friend? Ah, curious. It appears we can communicate without speaking.
Well, that's great and all, but what's its purpose? Is it going to aid me in our travels, or is it for show?
It will carry us.
Oh my god. This is going to be a problem.
Indubitably. So, with that in mind, do you climb onto your new steed?
Yes.
Tomaros. Okay.
Oh no, I'm covering his head. There we go. Plenty of room. Who wishes to join me?
Oh, I'm alright. I have my own. And she climbs up on Dumplemore in his armor.
And
he's a medium creature, and I'm small.
That's true. I'm pretty sure he looks annoyed.
It's Dumplemore. He's always annoyed. Let's be honest.
True enough.
dump him up. That's okay. Nah. Okay, that sounds good. If you'd be mind carrying me for a little bit.
I want to say I can try to interpret what that means, but I hold the Televar.
All right. So as you pretty much follow Televar, Brandywine, are you in the front?
I imagine, yes.
Wait, what
Okay.
happened with Gek?
He is on your leash, still next to you.
Oh, I mean, what did he roll? What happened?
Oh well, you'll find out in a moment. So with So with Brandywine leading the way with Sir Televar in her hands, or technically in a jar.
Oh no.
You follow after her, and the mist starts to form around all of you. And strangely enough, even the surrounding, as like before, seems to shift and change and transform. You no longer see the brambles or the large creeks of the swampy water. Instead, you just see a little bit more of a water flow going through between your legs and around you, and you just hear a lot of squelching noises as the water seems to be thickened, and then you're starting to see very long cattails appear around you, and the mist starting to kind of slightly fade until you guys are just hearing a lot more splashing around you. So I'm going to bring you to a new map.
Is it still dark?
It's hard to tell with all the mist. So you can try to roll me a perception check to see, or survival, to see if it's dark or not.
Also, is anybody else riding on this big ass ox?
No, I'll walk.
You walk.
I've seen people ride oxen. Doesn't end well.
But he's so smart.
I feel like Yanara, who already has hooves, would feel awkward riding something. So
You know, I think Brandy would take up the opportunity to hop on a radiant ox, like riding side saddle.
All right, you can move your token onto the ox, and then I will put Soltalavar in the middle between both of you. There you go.
So if I understand
This way, if I'm mounted on the ox and cast Call Lightning.
So if I understand the ox, right, it cannot speak, correct?
Not outright. It can speak to me telepathically, and I can speak to it in the same way, or by, it can understand common.
Yeah, it can understand the language, but it cannot speak the language out loud.
The question is, are you going to voice your own ox? So
you have to spend 10 minutes to use that, just FYI. It's always only ritual.
Yeah, while you're walking.
Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Hell, if it requires you to stand still, you can just sit on the ox while you do it.
I will do this another time.
As heads up, I pretty much have Detect Magic permanently on, so if anything pings my radar of any interesting sense.
Okay.
Because I have that whole whatever feat that thing was.
Eldritch Sight or something?
Yep, Eldritch Sight.
Of Detect Magic.
Yep, so I'm basically just detecting magic whenever it drops down and permanently keeping my magic radar active.
Okay, well, you don't sense anything magical, but you do realize that you're in a new scenery, and even Sir Televar looks a little confused. And you look around, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of rustling in the vegetation around you guys.
So Televar, how does that work? This is the second time now that we've appeared in somewhere completely new. Different fauna, different flora. Is it some sort of spatial fluidity? Some trans-dimensional chronodissonance? Do you happen to understand how it works?
My dear girl, all I know is that Balvona is the one in charge of this land. Whatever fancies her whim, the land follows her. Well, magic doohickeys.
So we have no control over it. There's no way we can harness it to, well, I don't know, maybe go to where we want to go?
I'm afraid not, my girl. I know where we're supposed to go, but... Well, you know how hags are. They like to screw with people.
That seems highly inconvenient. Still,
Right.
Oh, it can't be that bad. She left all these snacks around for weary travelers.
With that, he snatches a cattail and just downs it in one bite. You hear a little poof under his helmet.
Oh no.
Right,
Roll me
cattail.
a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh no.
Well, back home we used those to make throw pillows. I've never thought to eat one, though.
Where the hell are my saving throws?
Can I roll survival or medicine?
Sure. Oh, you're fine, Tomrose.
No, it's a cattail. People will put them in their mouths to disastrous results, but I'll say that he just chokes it down. Maybe not chokes,
So-
but
Brandywine, as you're looking at the nearest cattail on top of the steed, it looks like a normal cattail, but as you're looking a little closely, you notice that some of them have different colors and different textures on them.
Don't eat the cattails because no one of these are the same.
Well,
Really?
don't say that. He'll take it as a challenge.
Oh, the different flavors?
See?
Upon saying that, Fee will investigate some of the cattails. Does she... Can I make an investigation or nature roll?
You can do investigation or a nature roll, yes.
Okie dokie. And would I have... I think I would have advantage on this because of my herbalism kit.
Mm-hmm. If you're using your herbalism kit for your nature check, yeah. Well, alright, so as you take your turn of looking at the nearest cattails, you notice the one right next to you is quite a vibrant pink and has a kind of like a fuming, smoky, kind of translucent future to it. And you look over to the other one and you notice that one is more like a very sickly green. You don't know if it could be ripened, but as you took a little closer look, you notice this has a bark like texture to it. You're getting the you're getting the idea that these could be magical in some sense.
Yeah, she starts noticing this and basically just starts, as she comes across new ones, she snips one and puts it in a vial. She, as she walks, she tries to collect as many different colors and textures as she can that she's seen as new.
They're not giving off any magical aura that I can detect.
Some of them you do, but not all of them are.
Okay, just curious.
They're just very odd textures and colorations, and some of them, yes, you get little pings here and there, like one way over here, and then one way in the distance, and then one somewhat in a very tall structure that's standing 6 feet above and casting a shadow.
The who, the what now?
And roll me a perception check to see what that one particular one was.
Perception. Normal, I'm assuming.
I mean, with your detect magic, I'll give you advantage.
Okay.
Okay. So, as you're looking in the direction way over here, you're noticing this one is far higher than the others. And as you're looking up, and you see a shadow kind of higher above these cattails, and you notice it's slightly moving towards you. And as it's coming closer, you realize you spot a hobgoblin on stilts. and it has a cage full of cattails of various colors and eggs.
Query. What is that? He points, just like kind of making himself loud enough to be heard, and just points straight towards the hobgoblin.
New friend?
Is this another thing in need of peace?
Excuse me. Hello.
You notice it as you guys are pointing off in the direction. It stops in this direction as it hears voices and mutters something in Goblin. Does anyone understand Goblin?
Hold on, I might actually. Hold on. Fuck up my languages.
I do.
Can I shout something? And oh, okay, never mind.
So, oh, whoops, sorry, Gek. As you're overhearing this, Gek, you start to hear their voices. You hear that? Jared, do you hear that? Yeah, I hear him too. Becky, you hear that? Yeah, I hear him too.
Oh my.
Maybe we should surround them.
Hello.
And then as you're saying hello, there is more popping around as you're being calling out to the things, and there's one right behind the sorcerer. And they are slowly coming in to investigate.
Are they armed?
From by the looks of it, as they're coming in closer, you do see that they have, again, the wire cage, and there is sickles attached to one of their stilts. And their face is kind of obscured, so I'm going to try to show you guys what they look like at a better angle here. So one moment.
Find the token in the token list and right click and say show artwork. Yay. Oh dear.
Oh, that's creepy.
Metricophobia.
Plague Inquisition.
What are you doing here? How did you get in our swamp?
We're sampling the local cuisine, looking for a bog witch of some sort.
What? Are you stupid? Why would you sample these? Some of these are toxic.
Oh, really? You know about these plants?
Well, of course. I mean, we gather them to sell them. Some of these have magical properties, and some of them are just pretty in color, but they do sell for quite a good, a few gold coins here and there.
Insight check?
Sure, you can roll me an insight check.
And which is the tastiest?
The one that's tastiest is the one that look brown with a yellow line down the middle.
Oh, definitely insight check on that.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Brandywine, as you're noticing, yes, some of them are kind of clustered around you, and looking up, it's kind of hard to see their faces, but from their point of their stature, they're not raising any of their weapons towards you. They're just looking at you kind of curiously, as they never really seen you before, nor a giant oxen in the middle of their cattails, or they just seem confused.
Well, tell me, if you know about all these plants, would you be willing to maybe trade knowledge? I'm an herbalist of sorts, and I would love to learn about this fanciful flora.
I mean, sure. I mean, that's no problem at all. Says the one that's right next to you, the yellow. I mean, what would you just want to know about these flowers or the cattails?
Well, yes, I'm always looking for new reagents, and I'm a traveling physician, you see, and I would always love to find new things to make better medicines or that sort of thing.
I mean, some of these have medical properties, yes, especially the ones that are quite pink in particular. I seen you have one in your hands already.
Oh, yeah, I've just been collecting them. They must have so many different colors and textures. I assume they all have different properties, so I've been collecting them as I've gone along. Is that okay?
I mean, yeah, we don't really own it. It's just usually we sell these out to Downfall with all those toads.
Wary, you say you sell. Where is the nearest place that you go to frequent such markets? We are but peaceful travelers.
Downfall.
Oh,
Wary, could you point us in that direction?
About that. Pointing is not going to help you. Like I said, what I said to this girl earlier, that this land is owned by Volna, says Sir Televar.
oh, yes, that is right. There's some sort of, I guess, translocational hex on this area, it seems. Depends on... We don't really end up going where we want to go. Perhaps it's maybe where she wants us to go, or perhaps it's just some sort of chaotic, wild magic of... I don't know, a hag or feeling. But it seems to be controlling our movements. More so than we are.
How do you find your way around then?
Well, we kind of think of where we need to go. If we have a main focus in mind, it kind of helps us out, but sometimes it can be still a little bit random.
Really? It's it's attached to mental desire?
In some ways or another.
See, Fee pulls out a little notebook and scribbles down a couple notes about it.
I mean, it's kind of a...
Well, it's more like, if you want to put it in statistical terms, it's a given chance of 64 by 36 per chance.
Oh, you are learned
Something like
scholars.
that.
You know your statistics and probabilities then.
Well, Becky is not... I mean, most of us just gather. She's the one that's been keeping notes of what goes where.
Yes, that is right, Jared. Very good.
Just why not explain what else we're doing? What? I mean, we're just being friendly.
I know, Jared, I know.
And as you guys are the main three that are talking, the other three, Green starts to walk away and starts to go back to gathering. Same with Pink and Purple as they go back to their duties. But the three around you stay with you: Jared, Becky, and the one that you don't know.
Did any of them look down at Sir Televar when he spoke?
No. It's hard to tell with the mask that they're wearing. But yes, if you have a bit of a mind focus of where you need to go, then you should be able to get there as much as you can. But like Becky says, sometimes it can be weird.
Statement. This calculation seems off. I have run the logistics of peace through my mind, 8,922 lines of code in quick succession, and I have not arrived at that destination.
Where are you heading?
To peace.
Well, depends on your definition of peace. Are you trying to pass over?
It appears the definition of peace is still too loose. This unit has much to ponder.
Well, it's certainly peaceful here.
Oh yeah, there's not that much going on here besides, the mist and the cactus. Well, obviously some of the cactus do like to explode, and that's why we have these masks on. So I'm quite surprised that you are here without masks, but not my business.
And where are we supposed to get
Do you
them?
have any of those? Do you have any of those masks to spare?
Oh yes, I do, says the guy in red, and he comes over slowly, and as you're getting a closer look, this one seems a little bit older compared to the others, and he oddly tries to lean himself forward, and you see the cage on his back and the eggs roll forward with him, and as he leans forward, the hatch on top of the lid pops open, and then he shakes a little bit before it plops in front of you, kind of in the mud, with the
The face
mass.
huggers.
Fee will step forward.
Face
and
huggers.
Investigate the mask.
So the mask itself is there. Yeah, there's a lot of like holes in it, but there on the other side there is some odd breathing device that seems that you just put it in your mouth, and then it blows fresh air into it and expels the other air.
Does it seem crafted or biological?
It seems crafted.
Okay.
Well, these are, rudimentary, but certainly seem functional enough. Do you
Well, if you've been around this type of fields and working in the swamps, you do what you can with wood.
Well, I'm sorry to ask, but do you happen to have a few more for the rest of our party?
He slowly starts to push himself back up and whistles to the others, and they all turn to look and start to meander right back into the to around you guys and start to do the same actions like he did in Shimmy before each of you get a mask of your own.
Before people actually go to put them on or guess or equip, Brandy is going to raise a question. So, what's the catch? What's the deal that you want to make for them?
Deal? Well, I mean, if you're interested in buying some eggs, says Yellow, which is Jared.
So, actually, am I able to identify what kind of eggs they are?
You notice that some of the eggs are reptilian and bird.
Do these go nicely with the cattails?
Well, if you consider which ones precisely to a dish, then yes, they can be edible. Why do you ask?
He's just stuffing like 7 stalks of the blue or the brown and like yellow cattail behind his back.
Oh, no reason.
Right.
How much for a carton of eggs?
Oh. For a carton of eggs.
How about how much for in exchange for the masks? How many eggs do we need to buy?
I like you.
Fee just kind of looks around, and in her mind, it's like, they were gonna give them to us. Why are we offering?
Brandy looks at Fee and she's shaking her like, you don't. And then she looks over to Yanara, who has been a Feywild inhabitant for as long or longer as Brandy. Open-ended deals are a bad idea.
Query, can this unit just have the egg? This one has no need of a mask, as this unit does not require oxygen.
Well, what kind of egg do you want? And he, the grandfather one, or the older one, leans back down, and you see various types of eggs in the basket. One of blue with green reptilian scales. Then you see one that's yellow with pink polka dots on it. And then you see more like a very blackish green egg. But that's kind of what the various majority of it is blackish green.
He'll take the scaly one. And
All right.
he can, in the chest cavity that has now been vacant by a spider and explosive, he wants to try to incubate it.
Very well.
And he looks over to Fee, and you see the still lighted, like, robotic, like, expression appear. Statement. Soon this Unit 2 will have a companion. This is ideal for peace-giving methods.
Oh, that's wonderful, Peacepot. Well, if you need any help raising it, I would be love to help.
Acknowledged.
Peacepot wants a pet. That's so cute.
Then he looks back over and he drops a gold piece to the goblin or the hobgoblin or whatever it is.
Much obliged, sir. Much obliged. And he leans back up and kind of puts it in the pouch that's in kind of right around his belly section.
He's got a fanny pack.
He's got a fanny pack.
It's very functional.
They are.
How much for a dozen of the yellow ones?
The yellow one? Oh, the yellow and pink dotted ones. Well, we were kind of having to try to trade these with the Bollywogs, because they... Jared, what should we say? Right? Right. And he rubs the back of his head. Not for trading.
Come now, there must be a price.
Roll me a persuasion.
Yes, my first actual charisma check of the entire campaign.
Add that to my inventory again.
You add a new item, of course. Okay, with a 20, you look in the blue one's direction, named Becky, and she kind of like her posture is more rigid, and you can see her knuckles tensing around the stilts that she's holding onto, and there's a few awkward moments between both of you, and she just goes, "Fine. These eggs are worth 50 gold pieces. Do you have 50 gold pieces?"
Let me check.
Trick, how do I add a manual item?
I do not have 50 gold pieces.
And kind of so well there, Tomros.
Can anybody front me 40 gold pieces?
Oh,
I mean, I might have that in gems. I don't think I have it in gold.
Well, if we bought one of those eggs, would you consider the masks settled?
I suppose. With all the masks and your friend here taking the egg instead of the mask, I would suppose we can fend off for 10 gold pieces.
Sold.
And he extends his hand to shake.
They look at your hand and they look down at their stilts.
Logistical issues.
The grandfather one just basically headbutts you. Deal.
He just sort of fondles the top of his head. And he grabs the 10 gold pieces from his belt and gives it to him.
Alright. Make sure that is out of your inventory, and you should...
Won't be hard,
I'm trying to
that is
count.
all I have.
Okay. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Wait, hold on. Math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? There's 7 of you. Unless you're giving -1. So that's 6 of you, unless you're giving your masks to Dumplemorp.
Dumplemorp's in his armor. He probably doesn't need it.
Okay, so then 6 of you. So 6 breathing
Assuming
masks.
Pippi doesn't need one. Not that it would fit.
No.
Bigby goes inside
No,
the helmet and
it's
crowds out one of the eye
not
holes.
the yellow egg, Brandywine. Zarg, it's not the yellow egg that you... It was the blue and green reptilian egg that you traded out, not the yellow egg.
Well, the one meant for the bullywog, whatever, whichever.
Fixed breathing max and the egg.
Statement.
Or
This
10.
unit can also fix minor damages to those masks, if that was required.
That's a good tool there, my friend. Are you by chance a woodcarver? Or wood?
Negative. This unit possesses magic that can mend small tears and repair small objects.
Thus far, he's mostly been a sentient carver.
Well, the grandfather one starts to reel back up. Since we have other stuff to do, I hope you find downfall, as we do, but good luck on your journey, or whatever you're doing. Maybe someday we'll see each other again.
Are you on your way to Downfall now?
No, we have more to pick through this field.
Tell me, these bullywogs, do you have a name of a person that you talk with over there? It might be good to have some familiarity with somebody.
To be honest, there is a lot of sellers and merchants and a lot of high and tighty frogs up bullywogs up there. He's kind of scratching his head and... Well, there is one that I have more of a friendly relationship with. Oh, what was his name again? And he kind of like... You see him jig in place, like as if he wants to scratch the back of his head, but he can't. What was his name again there, Jared? How would I know? You're the one who talks to him. Alright. Yeah. You just see him basically go off in space. I believe his name was Oglith. Oglith, the Duke of the Three Rocks.
Oglith, the Duke of the Three Rocks. That is his title? It's probably good to refer to him as his title.
Yes, that should be his name. Say that... Oh, sorry, I got a tension in my back. No. Say that grandfather Rupert sent you.
Tell Davy Jones that Grandpa Robert sent me to settle accounts.
Well, thank you, Grandfather Rupert. I appreciate your assistance. Perhaps, maybe if we find ourselves some time, I will come back and talk with... what was your name again?
Turning to the one who was the more intelligent one. Becky.
The blue one.
I'm sure Becky and I have much to speak about.
I suppose one of these days if we do meet up back in Dawnfall, but
who knows? And she kind of shrugs a little before starting to still walk away.
Oh, very well. Right. So Televar.
Goodbye, friend.
Yes.
We'll meet again.
We need to go and find your key, yes? Back, where did you say it was?
Telemy Hill.
Yeah, that place. Maybe we should make our way there, or at least if we all think really hard the name, perhaps we have a better chance of going there.
Statement. This unit will now process the word downfall, location, downfall. in an infinite loop, beginning now.
Oh, no,
And
no.
you see his eyes just slightly dim as through Peaspot's head is literally just downfall being on repeat, printed out in like code over and over.
Peaspot, I think we need to go to
Oh, no.
Telemy Hill first.
Is he alright?
Downfall.
He's getting slightly warm to the touch.
Downfall. It's okay. He's just incubating the egg.
Oh, do we want a
Whoa.
male or a female reptilian or bird?
We'll see what happens when it hatches for me. If it
Oh, speaking of which, Tamiris is gonna down another cattail. You hear another from inside the helmet, and then he's gonna very gingerly place the egg in the same way.
In you go, little buddy.
Is he making a nest inside his helmet?
Did you eat the cock?
I did not eat the egg.
What?
So-
You got an egg?
So both Telemy and Tomaros and Peaspot are both incubating eggs and just slightly
Yep.
different ways.
So egg-wise, did we
Oh.
buy the yellow egg for 50 gold?
No, you didn't. So I'm like, where did you get the egg, Tom?
Okay, so we've got a blue and
Wait, but
green reptilian egg that
Mhm.
Peaspot has, and 6 masks. We never actually bought the golden egg.
Okay.
Oh, I was under the
I thought
impression
we
that
did.
10.
No.
Yeah,
You got one?
because I just paid 10 gold after the persuasion thing for
For the
foregoing my
mask.
mask.
But it was 50 gold pieces for the yellow and pink dotted egg. The 10 gold pieces was for the exchange for the masks and the 1 egg.
That Peaspot has.
I paid
I'm
for-
sorry. I guess my crosstalk
Wait, I
kind of
paid for
screwed
my
with
egg.
that transaction.
Yeah, I did.
Didn't I pay for my egg?
No,
Or am I different?
it was an exchange for not having the mask, but for the
But
egg.
Peaspot did give a gold piece.
Yeah, I gave a gold piece for the egg specifically.
Yes, you did put the gold piece to him. That's how much it was appreciative to the grandfather, because you don't realize that it's... Yeah.
Well, I mean, Peaspot has no idea the value of an egg. He just realized everyone was talking and just, gave him a gold piece for the egg. Just
So,
In total, we've spent
So-
11 gold for a green and blue reptilian egg and 6
Yeah.
breathing masks.
Yeah.
Oh,
did we
goddammit.
retroactively buy that 50 gold egg? Because I thought that's what we.
Yeah, I thought that
Did you
was.
give? Did you
I
give
was under
before
the.
the...
No,
Mhm.
I was under the impression the persuasion check reduced it from 50 to 10.
No.
Ah,
But
Persuasion
that
check
would've been-
allowed it to be purchased at all.
oh, right.
Yeah.
Can we retroactively say that we bought one of the eggs? I don't know if anybody wants to front the other 40 because I have the 10 gold pieces, and that's it.
I
Brandy,
got gems. I don't
with
know
her-
if they would take gems.
Brandy would try footing these 15 or 20. And then maybe the gems if they could be convinced.
Can they be
They
convinced?
take
GM?
gems?
they can take
Precious
gems, yes.
gem.
We'll
Oh, okay.
reverse to where they take the gems, yeah.
Yes. In that case, we're gonna retcon that Miros hugs Brandywine on the horse or on the ox, and also
Did he
waves at
take-
Yanara.
Carnival tickets.
No.
Yes,
No.
I swear I'll take really
I
good
have-
care of it.
I have 95
much-
gold and gems still.
I have 150 in gems, so
Jesus Christ.
So you pretty much
They're
give
the only people
whoever
with
wants.
any sort of wealth in this party.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
So
So just straight up 50 gold
yeah,
and
if
gems.
you want to do it that way, yeah. Or 40. If...
Okay. MSRP on gems, I'll take it.
Okay.
yeah, Brandy can spend her gems.
All right.
Gems.
Randy spends. Brandywine spends. Yes, thank you.
Amazingly,
All right.
going to a carnival is not the best place to actually make money.
Oh, I mean, Gek made crap
So
ton of money while I was
Tomaros,
there.
in your inventory, you have a yellow and pink dotted egg.
Yes, I'm keeping it inside the armor. Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
Okay.
Downfall.
All right. With that, the man formerly known as Sorcerer, roll me a d8.
Perfectly average, so all things shouldn't be.
Interesting. All right. So as you guys are all after exchanging and getting yourselves together and trying to think on Telemy Hill and trying to relate the information to P-Spot, you get this weird sensation once again as the mist starts to form around you, and you see the cattails and the hobgoblins on stilts fade away, and you notice that the mist, from its normal whitish color, turns to more of a greenish color, and you start to notice bubbles in the air. So I will bring you to the new map.
That was 3 times. What the fuck?
4 times.
4 times. Why did it print that?
He's running a recursive
Oh my
loop
God.
saying downfall.
In other
Yes.
news, the Slay the Spire Downfall game is really good.
PB teleports to Slay the Spire. Whoops.
Yeah, your concentration trying to get that particular Telemy Hill and trying to have all these jumbleness, it brings you somewhere again. Green mist surrounds you, and you see bubbles here and there. And the water that was around your feet is more of cakey and squishy mud.
P-Spot, where are we? Is any of this magical?
You don't sense anything magical here.
If you hear like the sound of almost like a fuse blowing, his eyes grow dark for a minute, then light back up. Error. Recursive loop reached. Query. Have we arrived at Downfall? This unit has processed Downfall 8,942 times.
I don't know. I don't know what Downfall looks like.
Oh, that's not.
Can we stop dropping fireballs on me?
That's a bad idea. You don't want to kill the artificer.
So, why is PB the only one on the yak? Why am I on the yak?
You're on
Did
the
you guys
yak?
just throw me up there when I was too busy contemplating Downfall?
Where are you?
Oh, he's under me.
Oh,
I copied and pasted you guys. I'm sorry.
we'll have to change the Z index on the ox to make him on the bottom.
We
can also
Change my character because I'm stuck underneath you now.
She's just riding on your shoulders now.
There we go.
I thought she was running a Dumplemorph. Is Dumplemorph riding on PV shoulders?
No.
Wait,
And all of them are riding on Gek?
If Dumplemorph is a medium creature and he fit inside PB's chest cavity, does that mean Fee can as well?
Dumplemorph himself is a tiny creature. His armor is a medium creature.
Yeah, I didn't have him in his armor.
Oh.
And I try to hide him. But now I've got an incubating egg. The P-Spot will protect.
Yeah, and B, also roll me a d10, please. Okay, thank you.
When it grows up,
Nice.
PB's gonna have it sign a piece of paper.
And
All right.
Fee's eventually going to make you something that's better than paper.
Please.
There you go.
You just need some downtime.
So yes. Sir Televar looks around in question, and you can tell his eyes widen. Maybe it's a good idea to put those masks on.
Okay.
Why? Where are we?
We're in the Mosh Gas lands.
Right.
So what I mean is, if any of these gas bubbles pretty much pops in your direction, bad things are going to happen. Anything could really happen, but really they stink like old cheese, and, well, let's just say either you could have laughing fits or very bad times where you have to go to the nearest bush.
But basically, it's alcoholic.
No, I rather you don't want to
It's
eat these.
alcoholic cheese bubbles.
Oh no.
Is it?
Mm,
Would you say it's a type of narcotic or aphrodisiac or
Well, I will put the mask on if I were you. Just put the mask on.
Sorry, professional curiosity. Yes, I'll put them on.
Query. Does the small lizard now require a mask?
I'm in a mystical enchanted cage. I'm pretty much safe in here. As you recall, as I was in the Battle of Fire, I was unharmed.
Statement. That is good. This unit did not realize it was protected and ventilated from gaseous forms.
Yes,
a
and
handy
unfortunately I
device.
can't do any magic either. I mean, I could do this. And he actually projects a breath of purple flames in this direction as he casts, where does his worksheet go? Do. GM is player, where are you?
You just double click the token.
Thank you. That would. Which no longer. Oh, great. It says it no longer exists. That's wonderful.
You sure he wasn't affected by the explosion?
Right? No, he
Stray
casts.
wood splinter lobotomized him.
He casts Euphoria Breath.
Euphoria.
We find out he never existed at all.
That most likely is an aphrodisiac.
Euphoria, aphrodisiac.
Ha 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 ha. No, it's just like a big stream of purple flame coming out from the cage and going off away from you guys. See, that's the only thing I could do.
Oh, that was very impressive.
Is Brandy affected by this, or is she just like
No,
holding up the cage?
You're holding the cage and he's not pointing it towards you. It's going outwards from him.
Like she sees the little dragon start to the, and she's like, "Oh shit, no!" And just holds it out in front of her.
Pretty much.
While this has been going on, Yanara has been trying to like awkwardly fit the mask over her horns.
Pippi gives you a little helping hand here and there, making sure it's all nice and snug on your face and making sure the mouthpiece fits in your mouth, but trying to bash away your curls and kind of stomping on it. And you just hear her kind of like jingle a little bit in frustration.
I think Kek is just staring at the bubbles.
Wait, is Gek gonna put it on top of the pumpkin or underneath?
I was wondering the same thing.
Statement. Please, put your own mask on before assisting those of lesser intelligence.
It's on the pumpkin.
It's on the pumpkin. Okay, yeah, so you're near this bubble then, Gek.
Oh god.
He's near the bubble, incredibly hungry.
Oh no!
Yeah, you're gonna roll me a wisdom. Wait, no, excuse me. Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. That's a ability check. Save. There we go.
Thank goodness we're proficient in this.
So what's proficient mean? It means I'll just.
Should automatic.
He's automatically apply it.
Oh
Oh,
no!
no.
Okay, that won't save it from a 3.
Oh, Gek, my lovely Gek. You. You immediately start jumping into place as you hiccup very harshly. You are now under the suffering case of the hiccups. And you have disadvantage on your stealth checks.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I never had advantage on to begin with.
Gek
hold
is
your breath.
never quiet.
Oh, Gek, please put on your mask.
It is on!
Well.
Oh, I'm sure everyone else has their stuff on, right? And looks around to make sure everyone has their masks on.
No need. I will
Yes.
simply hold my breath.
Come now.
Yeah,
Tomaros.
you can hold your breath, Tomaros.
Tomaros, you could not possibly hold your breath for the entire time we're here. Why don't you just put on your mask?
Oh, God.
Well, when you fall off your ox unconscious from lack of breath, don't come complaining to me.
By the way,
It
Tomaros, even
underestimates
though
my
you're
lung
holding your
capacity.
breath, your steed, on the other hand.
Oh no.
Oh no, we're now
Wait,
speed.
hold on. We have 6 masks. PB definitely doesn't need it.
No.
One for Gek, one for Yanara, one for the sorcerer, one for
Mm-hmm.
Fee, one for Brandywine.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon doesn't need it. I'm assuming
Mm-mm.
Dumplemorph has some sort of filtration system in his helmet.
Yep.
We have an extra mask.
Do you give it to your ox?
Breathe up, large buddy.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Breathe up.
He just sort of like gently stuffs it into his mouth.
Oh, I feel very bad for this creature, and you can definitely hear the thoughts of your creature. It's like, why? Why have you forsaken me, master?
It is for your own good.
This is in my head. All you hear on the outside is.
Peaceball gently pats it. Statement. There, Harry. Companion.
Also, I'd like to remind people that this thing is sentient and rather intelligent. I feel like it would be able to suss out why the masks are important.
It does have a 6 intelligence from the spell.
Yeah. It eventually understands the situation, but it just takes a second as you shove it into its face.
I mean, we don't necessarily know how smart it is.
No.
It signed the
In any
peace contract in like a legible print.
In any case, you're under the effects for hiccuping for an hour, Gek. So you're gonna have a very bad time hiccuping.
He's hungry and
But-
hiccuping at the same time.
Yes. And I would say, as you guys are looking about, and Sir Televar is a little confused, and he's right. Well, obviously this is not Telemy Hill. Maybe we should all concentrate on this word, and I'll try to think of the image.
So, should we just go back into the mist, or do we have to traverse this place first?
Executing infinite loop. Ptolemy Hill.
Oh
While
my
X
God.
equals... Peaceball grows dim again.
Well, roll me perception checks, everybody.
Ooh.
Well, you can actually prompt that.
Yes, love. Thank you.
So down at the bar to the left, that's like one of those is the prompt everyone.
Oh, okay, I got it. There you go.
Just regular.
Just regular.
Would this be something with smell?
Shiny rock.
No.
It's asking me to have Bippy roll. I mean, I can. Yeah, Bippy will roll. Oh,
Dang.
And I just need the sorcerer. I'm guessing. Did Fred go get his cup of ice? Or water?
No, but he should. Oh, I need to put normal.
Thank you.
Oh, I almost did a 1. Whew.
Alright, so Yanara
Dumplemorph
and Dumplemorph, and I also say Peacepot. As you're like kind of like fitting the masks on, except for Peacepot, you see something in the corner of your eyes shift along the mud.
That's not good.
what kind of something? Like, how big is it?
From the looks of it, it seems at first it looks like, you saw like this little shadow, but then you see it moving as if it's almost moving towards you in a little so action, like almost in a V formation.
Like under the mud or like in
Under
air?
the mud.
Oh, under the mud.
You see Dumplemorp step forward, and his armor starts making kind of a snarling noise, and all the servos, he kind of drops down into this kind of defensive, aggressive position.
Yeah, what was happening? Gek is digging through the mud because he saw a shiny rock.
Okay, you can roll me investigation for the shiny rock.
Oh my god.
Instead, finds a worm to eat.
And choked on it because he hiccuped.
You think it was a shiny rock, Gek, but instead you find something much more interesting.
Ooh. Hi there. Hi, I'm Gek.
Yes, yuck. Yeah, that sounds yummy.
Oh my god.
What? Before I eat you, I have a riddle for you. What is my favorite food?
Gek?
Fire. I want to do a produce flame on this thing.
Gek?
Yanara tried to reel Gek back in because he still has the leash.
He's at the 10 feet.
I'm totally serious. Can I try to yank him back?
You can definitely try to yank him back. Roll me an athletics versus athletics, I suppose. So that's
Can I guidance this, or is it too quick?
You can guidance it, yeah.
Alright. Yep.
Which
I
one?
can do
Are you
guidance
guiding
on
me
this.
or
Yeah,
him?
both of you see that happen. So, yeah.
Which one are you guidancing? Are you guidancing me or him?
I'm
You're
guidancing
guiding-
you.
Okay, thank
I don't
you.
trust Gek on this one. There you go. Ah!
Ah.
Yay.
Peacebot is too busy calculating infinite loop of the other word. He could guidance others, but never himself.
Well,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
yep, you go back. Gek. As you
Wow.
get yanked.
Back, heal.
And as you do
Why did
this, I was
it
uh-huh.
rolled a double d4?
I don't know.
It did, because she rolled an 18 plus 4 plus 2. Technically, it was
I
a
have a
22.
+2 in my strength.
Right.
I can
There's
redo
two
it for you.
caltrops.
There's 2 caltrops.
No, wait,
in
I
there.
have a +2 strength though. I mean,
So it's a
No,
20.
I mean, if we
We'll do it again.
No,
We'll do it
It
again.
was a 24. They matched. It was 24 and 24. She rolled an 18 plus 4 from the caltrop.
+2 from my strength though. I mean, did I roll an 18
You
or
rolled
was
an 18.
mine?
Yeah, you rolled an 18.
Just do it again.
Okay, GM says go again.
Fiat Cobur.
Oh, my caltrop didn't go. Hold on, I'll just roll 1d4.
I don't think it matters.
Don't win anyways.
I mean, I
You're
still
yanked
did it. I'm
back.
gonna roll it.
Yes, you are yanked
So
back.
again, Gek, heal.
All
We're
right.
not getting out of this
and-
one.
But friend,
And
No,
Randy
no
one,
friend
you were
who
doing
wants to eat
produce
you.
flame.
I'm also hungry.
If I'm able to throw fire at this thing before combat starts, then sure, I'd like to produce flame at it.
In terms of timing, technically, the initiation of a hostile action is what would initiate initiative rolls. It's not a free surprise round.
Oh.
I mean, was my action hostile? I was
No, you
No.
just
trying to
yanked
yank
it.
him away from the
But-
hostile. Yeah.
But if
Is that the
Brandywine
attack
is
of
saying,
opportunity?
yeah, if Brandywine is saying I attack it, that initiates an initiative roll.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The attack
But
doesn't
if
happen
you don't-
before.
If you don't attack it, I will say it's sticking out of the mud, looking at all of you.
Okay,
And
so I'll amend that to say narratively fire is in her hand and she does not like the fact that it's talking about food, about her companion, making her companion food.
still waiting for you to answer what is my favorite food.
I said Gek.
Wrong. Now you can roll initiative.
We're in a
Oh,
combat state.
Put us in-
Honestly, I'm kind of tempted to just let Gek battle this out because he is very underestimatable. Well, we can join at a later time. All I'm saying, I think Tomiros would sit back and observe.
Because this should have done it.
You don't need to target us. You just need to box, drag, select over us, and then right click.
That's what I did.
You got this, small dragon. Give him the what for?
What for? What?
There it
There
goes.
you go.
Should it be prompting us for initiative, or we just
It's
rolling
in
it?
it's in
Second,
the second tab. You just gotta go and click your
Oh,
dice.
right. Yeah.
Why do my
Ox-
spellcasters never roll above a
X.
10?
There we go.
Well, that's okay.
Just does not care.
I'm not a spellcaster, and I just roll a 2.
But you are a sorcerer.
Formerly.
Formerly.
Technically, Dumplemore acts after your turn, right?
Nope,
B.
he's a
think
yes,
it
sorry.
does.
No, yeah, you're right. He does.
Okay. And I have yet to have Comoros roll his.
Oh, like I said, I'm just gonna sit back and observe. I was gonna let Gek duke it out with this
Well,
thing.
yeah, you can.
Okay, I guess I can skip my turn if need be.
It's structured time, so
Why no prompt for initiative?
It sits in the second tab with a fist.
Just go to the tab
yes,
and roll
thank
it.
you.
And
Thank
remember,
you.
any tab you want to, just right click on the top of the tab and it will pop it out for you.
Ooh, right.
So technically, it looks like. Oh man, this is going crazy.
It always does this. I'm
It
not
always
really
does
sure
that.
why. It settles eventually.
There
Give it
you
a
go.
second, it'll- yeah.
So Gek, what do you do since you're on the leash now and being pulled back to Yanara?
I guess I'll run towards it.
All right.
He is gonna run forward 5 feet and wait, where the fuck is it? There it is.
Oh no, he's about to chaos man. Oh, yep.
That's not what I've created yet, but it's basically he gets a yeah, he has detect magic on, and until his rage ends,
Detect magic.
he can try to force somebody on to make a Constitution saving throw or lose concentration on a spell.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep. Basically, he's attacking and detecting magic.
Okay.
Oh, I'm about to detect if this thing souls magic. He attacks with the great axe. He attacks with the great axe. There we go.
There you go.
I detect your weaknesses. Smash.
Yeah, pretty much. It hits.
And combat over.
Oh my god.
Well, it's still alive.
I forgot. Do I have extra attack?
Yep.
I think you do.
Yeah.
Barbarian.
Yeah,
level
you-
5,
yeah, I think so.
baby.
He attacks again. He misses.
Aw, sad.
Yeah, it's everything. Eat this.
So the first attack, you slam it right against its, one of its weirdly shaped shoulders. You kind of make a big mark into it. And as the second one goes pretty wide over its head, as it ducks out of the way managingly, but it clutches at its bleeding shoulder and glares at you and hisses.
I just wanted to know what my favorite food was. How dare you?
Now it's Peace turn.
How are we fighting these things? Why? Oh no!
And you see Dumplemorph just charge across. 25. And he like flanks behind it and tackles the thing.
Okay.
Bop. Bop. So he tackles the thing. Is it still up?
Hi, it's still up, unfortunately.
Okay. Right.
And you see Fee kind of fiddle with her bracer, and she's going to fire one of her sleep darts at the thing.
Okay.
Her relaxant darts here. No.
It hits. Unfortunately.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
You. It's dead.
The dart. So flavor-wise, I've always been saying that it's basically a muscle relaxant dart. So can we just say it falls asleep?
Yeah, it falls
asleep.
So
Face first in the mud and drowns.
Go to sleep.
And this dart fires out and hits it and crushes and things. Eyes roll to the back of its head and it falls over.
Oh, okay.
That was mine.
Well, it only wanted to talk, Gek. I figure if it's...
It was yummy. And that's best food.
Well...
Yes, why did you interfere? This was the small dragon's prerogative.
Kobolds eat everything.
I think it'd rather just sleep for now and we can move on, okay? There's no reason to kill things.
Gek did say he was hungry.
Well,
do you do anything else?
Very appetizing.
Yeah, Fee will walk over, and she's just gonna start inspecting this creature that she's never seen before.
Can I help her?
Unfortunately, you're still in the initiative order, so...
Oh.
Would that... Could I do that? I mean, it's
yes, you can.
Would it be a free action
still,
then?
It's a free action, yes.
Okay. Medicine? Or
Medicine?
investigation?
I would... Yeah, medicine would work.
Okay. So she pulls out her medical tools and kind of starts, not like cutting it open, but just kind of like starts examining it, taking, pulse, taking, trying to find vitals, just generally trying to understand what this creature is, passing it over with a couple, sort of arcane sensor type things.
Yeah, as you're pretty much kind to inspect it and kind of like getting a hand experience with this thing, it's literally as you're poking and prodding over it, you feel like you're cutting into mud.
Oh. This is...
And as you're looking over the inspected wound that Gek delivered, taking a closer look around that area, you notice it's bleeding like a blackish brown color. It has some blood to it, but it's mostly made out of mud.
Okay.
And you get the idea, trying to think back on your knowledge of what these creatures may be, you only detect one of them, and it is a mud mephit.
She's like racking her brain.
Oh, I remember these being mentioned in elemental transmutation class. It's a type of elemental method. This one seems to be made of mud. Well, it seems to be the only one.
Maybe.
That's yeah. That's what that was. That's Fee's turn. She's inspected this thing, and
All right. And then you can end your turn, and we move on to Yanara.
Okay, I guess I'm going to ask, since I noticed stuff crawling around in the mud earlier, do I see anything else around apart from this thing?
Oh yeah, from your roll from earlier, same with PB and J, and I believe who else rolled the highest? I think I said it was
Dumplemorp, I think.
Dumplemorp, yes. Before Dumplemorp moved, he noticed one way over here. And then you notice one actually right next to Sorcerer, as you see a difference between the mud. And PB&J notices one way over here. And Dumplemorp also senses something behind him. But they haven't popped up yet. You just know they're in the mud.
Okay, hold on, I'm reading the verbiage of a spell real quick.
Can I still eat it?
No, Gek.
I wouldn't recommend it. It's actually, essentially elemental infused mud. It's a living substance, not a creature of sort.
My dear boy, do you like to eat mud?
Sometimes.
You have quite a palate.
Thank you.
Okay, so you said the one I saw was over here next to Sorcerer, right?
Correct.
Okay. I haven't tried this spell yet, but I'll try this spell. I'm gonna cast Nathair's Mischief.
Okay.
So I need to make a 20-foot cube. Hold on a second. I thought it would just happen, but apparently it didn't.
no,
so
I'll fix that.
So I guess just no, I don't want to hit Sorcerer with it, so it actually goes off the map. Just you know, those 20 feet right there by Sorcerer, and then I need to roll a d4, I guess.
Okay.
You should just be able to. You might have actually been able to click the thing in the actual spell list, but that works too.
Oh yeah, I probably could have. But okay, so either way, so each creature in the cube must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw, or begin giggling until the start of my next turn.
Okay.
So yeah, that's there. And then with my bonus action, that works. Okay, so it's incapacitated. Yay!
Yay!
That's just it. It is in the middle of a giggling fit. It is incapacitated. So yeah.
It snorts in mud and then suffocates.
And
then what? Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that as you cast a spell, you immediately start hearing giggling coming from a sorcerer, and then both of you look around to your left, and you notice that this thing just rises out of the muck and starts to hold its guts and starts laughing like uncontrollably.
Cool. Okay. And since it's well, you know what? No, I'll save that. I guess then with my bonus action, I will just I'll throw a bardic inspiration at Sorcerer just in case this thing pops up and starts swinging at him.
Okay.
Do I actually have to? Well, hold on. Well, oh, it's because I'm not targeting. Sorry.
Yeah, relearning Foundry. Crash course, everybody.
I have not used my bonus action this round, Foundry.
I need to get rid of that. It's checking dumb stuff.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, and I don't think I'll move, so that's my turn.
Alright, so, and uses all its movement to move in a random direction. Okay, so it's its turn. So that thing is pretty much rolling around in the mud, laughing and giggling, and looks over to you almost a little kind of annoyed, but immediately starts to walk off in the random direction. So it's going past you, Sorcerer, and
I'd like to make an opportunity attack as soon as it
yes,
gets
you may.
Alright, I'm gonna punch the darn thing. Nice. No, I don't need to use Bardic Inspiration. Do I just hit X?
Just hit X, yep.
Yep, that hits.
I might as well use Bardic Inspiration here. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, it's a 1, but 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, well, actually, because you've got motive potential, it actually does more damage. Hold on.
Wait.
So that would...
So you added...
Immediately after the creature rolls Bardic Inspiration, the motive potential shatters. The target and each creature of your choice that you see within 5 feet must succeed on a Constitution saving throw against my spell save DC or take thunder damage equal to the amount rolled on the Bardic Inspiration die. So it needs to make a con save.
I'm back. Sorry.
To take 1 point of thunder damage.
Hey,
but now we can officially say we're...
1 damage.
Hey, we can now say we're in the Thunderdome.
And is it with a disadvantage because it's incapacitated, or...?
Incapacitated.
No, it still makes a save.
Yeah, incapacitated only means it can't make actions or reactions. It doesn't
So
affect
I take
any other stats.
11 is a fail.
That fails. So it takes an additional 1 thunder damage.
The 8 damage total. Or
So
can you roll Bardic Inspirations as additions to damage rolls? Is that a thing?
I think that's something they just added, yeah.
I know that some bards can. I think like a Valor bard can.
Hold on, let me read what mine actually says.
You know what? You might be right that
Oh no, magical inspiration. If a creature has a bardic inspiration die from you and casts a spell that restores hit points or deals damage, the creature can roll. Oh, it's only a spell, not attacks.
Once within the next 10 minutes, the creature can roll a die and add it to 1 ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. No, it doesn't count for damage.
Okay, yeah, we can ignore it then.
But anyway, you
Okay, the
rolled
one?
it for the
Okay.
damage anyway. So, for the special thing of creation bards.
So it takes 8 points. Correct?
8 points.
Okay. Alright, well, it got hit as it's walking by, which gives Tolmeros, not Tolmeros, PB&J also an opportunity attack as it keeps walking.
Okay. I mean, I will do so.
Sorry,
Power
where is
word
it
kill.
walking?
I mean, power word eternal peace.
Oh yeah, basically power word bonk.
Word bonk.
It hits.
Power word bonk.
Technically, Yanara could have got a hit too.
That too,
True.
yeah.
She shanks it
Could
with her
have,
flute.
couldn't I?
Mm-hmm.
I've got him something. What? I've forgotten what kind of weapon I have. I have a
Horns.
mace, yeah. That's true, I've got horns.
Headbutted.
Smash an ocarina on its head.
This thing goes giggling by, and a menagerie of punches and mace swings just clatter it there.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is what masochism looks like.
Yeah, I
then
mean,
he
I
runs
actually
into
can
the
make a ram
aphrodisia
attack with my
bubble.
horns.
Yeah, you can do so if you want to do your ram attack or whatever weapon attack you want to do.
I'll headbutt it. Sure. What is that? A strength-based attack, or
Yeah, it's a strength.
I don't actually have unarmed strike in my inventory, so.
Yeah, it's a strength based. It's 1d20.
Bludgeoning?
That does 1d6 bludgeoning. Plus your strength.
My ram attack. My ram attack does 1d4 plus strength mod.
The latest version of Satyr actually increases it to 1d6.
Oh well, then never mind.
Yeah, all
Well,
the
I need to roll
natural
the hit
weapons.
first, so.
Yeah, all the natural weapons got up till 1d6. That's why Antavos has a 1d6 headbutt.
My proficiency bonus at this point 3. So. Yeah,
That
17 hit him.
Yep.
Cool. So,
All right. It's looking really hurt now as it's being smashed in with the mace and then getting horned in the backside as it's going walking still and then stops right there and just almost wanting to hide back into the ground. Which
Still giggling.
it's still giggling, so it can't do anything else. So it will end its turn. Bringing us to the other one that slowly moves forward and pops out of the ground in front of Tomaros.
Do you give us the chance to give us the answer we seek for, or must you too hurt us?
What was the question?
What is our favorite food?
Creature of mud? Possibly carnivorous? Dirt?
Wrong.
And
Where would
it goes to attack.
Violence it is!
Isn't this technically the one the
That
2
died?
slot?
Oh, I'm so sorry. You're correct. The yellow and the orange pretty much. That doesn't do anything. Revert.
No, we're just having this shouting conversation.
It's the other one that comes around.
It says this as it appears, but doesn't rush forward quite yet.
Quite yet, sorry.
That one.
It's the other one. There we go, sorry.
Less of a shouting.
That's the one that goes forward. Alright, same question. It's going to attack you because you answered wrong. And it's going to attack the steed if I can select the steed.
You may not, he's precious. Please, no.
Big ox must die. Did you roll health for said steed?
I didn't actually roll. I think we just used the default stat block. Just
The average.
Yeah.
Yes, take the average, or else you end up with a dire wolf that has 11 hit points.
I mean, you did gamble.
And I failed.
Anytime Shinari is touched.
It misses. If
It
just
bounces
goes,
off
tries,
the floof.
pretty much. And it goes. It can't go anywhere, so it's just gonna go. I mean, it could, but it's just going to go off to the left
Just
to
got
get
his
away
hand
from the horn.
awkwardly caught in its fur. It's like, oh.
And that is its turn. Brings us to Brandywine's turn.
It'd be a disadvantage. It's a ranged attack in melee range.
Oh yeah, 1 second.
Pretty high up on the ox.
That's still within 5 feet.
I know.
Yeah,
It would make mounted combat a bitch.
it still hits either way. So
Boosh.
yeah, it takes the fire damage, and despite it being mud, you can notice as it blasts into its stomach, it starts to crackle in some places as the mud dries up on itself more. But it doesn't seem to be as hurt compared to the others that have been attacked. but it looks in your direction and just hisses.
You two must hurt us. We just simply want an answer.
You know, you could be a bit more accommodating with the range of responses.
Perhaps you could give us multiple choice?
You could give us a hint after we've gotten it wrong 3 times.
No, that is not our rules. Answer. What is our favorite food?
And who makes these rules?
We do.
Just take a guess. You might get it right.
So Tomaros had guessed dirt.
Mm-hmm. Gek said Gek.
Mud.
It looks at you almost kind of with a cocked head turn, waiting for something.
Mud pies?
See, wasn't that hard?
And then he looks back at the others.
They answered right. They answered our favorite food.
And then they start to go back underground and start to move away, which ends the combat.
There's still one that we have roofied. Chloroformed.
They disappear back onto the ground, despite their friend being roofied.
So this one stays, though.
Yep.
Oh, well,
But you see the shadows in the ground start to move away.
Well done, Brandywine. That was very astute of you. I never would have expected they ate themselves, but... Well...
I mean, it's mud pies. Mud pies are quite different than mud.
I mean, technically speaking, mud is just wet
Answer
dirt.
this whole time?
What? I was just waiting patiently, you know. I mean, you guys obviously like to attack things before actually conversing, apparently.
Gek answered wrong and they tried to eat him.
Well, that's the way of the land.
I'm gonna use my bonus action to healing word the guy who's asleep.
Why did they risk great bodily harm for a terrible pun?
And I'm going to whisper, the favorite word is mud pie. Sorry about, yeah.
Alright, so how much?
You didn't deserve that. That was a terrible pun. This is some bullshit.
Sir Televar shrugs. Don't look at me, I'm not the one who's made out of mud. These critters here in the Fey realm could be quite, well, not quite fun or hospitable, as you can tell. But, yes. Welcome to the Feywild.
And a deal that's free is never free. If it's free, well, you're the person that's part of the deal, the price.
So, how long does the sleeping go for, or is it just for the turn?
Technically, it's Ray of Frost, which means
Ray
it
of
slows
Frost,
him
okay.
down 10 feet. But I've flavored it as it's a relaxant dart. So if he heals him, it comes back to wake. Yeah. Mechanically,
Alright, yeah.
he's back awake.
He's back awake, and he hears Brandywine whispers the actual answer and sneers at all of you. Never trust outsiders. And then it disappears back into the dirt.
Uh-oh.
And before moving after the others.
Tomiros flips him off as he goes into the ground.
You just see a tiny middle finger going.
Just coasting through the mud.
I'm hungry. I don't think you wanted to eat them. They were made of mud, Gek. I'm sure we can get you something. I might even have something in my pack. Here, let me check.
Yeah, take a cattail.
Oh, no.
No!
But they're delicious, so they have great texture.
Do you try handing Gek a cattail?
I'm like waving in his general direction.
Yeah, Fee's like digging through her bag. She pulls out some of the things she's found. She pulls out a couple bars of soap, but
I thought I had maybe a travel ration from Jasali, but apparently not. I must have eaten it at some point. I'm sorry. I'm sure we can get you some food very soon. Don't worry.
Suit yourself.
And he eats another cattail. You hear a poof.
Peacepot
Oh, for heaven's
offers
sake.
one of his
Roll
rations
me a
to
Constitution
Gek.
saving throw. Tomaros.
Yeah.
Thank
I'm assuming this is for how violently it pops back out. Oh.
Bound to happen eventually.
So what does this look like? Does this do you see like little cottony things just sort of start to float out of his mouthpiece?
You turn into a cattail monster, and we had to kill you because you're now a plant mutant. Oh no! A percentile die.
that's fine. We're safe.
It's fine.
Fireball.
Please no, I have god rolls on this character.
It doesn't seem anything is physically happening to you, Tomaros. And to be honest, you already think this way anyways. So nothing really has changed. So
He just sort of he slurps up the remaining cattail fronds, wafting around inside his helmet. Here. He takes another deep breath.
Alright. With that being out of the way and the bubbles are still popping in every direction, I would like to have PB&J roll me a d8.
Oh dear.
Oh.
You have another one?
Also, Gek needs to
Another one.
roll a 1d4 to see how long his detect magic sight lasts.
Yes, that too.
Oh goodness. What about detect as magic?
Roll me
PB&J.
again, please. For the
For BB?
Yep.
Oh, stop. Why does it do that? Why does it add dice? I want to.
So the 3 for the detect magic is 3 hours.
6 again.
Roll again. Nothing's really happening as your
You better
thoughts are
get
like
666.
Almost. 667.
Almost.
BB is one off from going to hell.
almost.
What do you mean going to?
All right. Well, this is interesting. Very
dear.
interesting. So, as you guys are pretty much wondering what to do, and you're still trying to get to the actual location of Telemy Hill, as everybody's settled down, eating some portions, and Gek feasting on some rations that PB&J fed. PB&J, as you're pretty much trying to focus yourself after this quietness, I need you to roll me another d8.
Oh my god.
And we get
happening
another
right
6.
now?
Oh, it's a 3.
All right. So, as the mist starts to form around you, as well as everybody, as it slowly that green mist starts to fade away and go back to the normal white clearing mist that's somewhat hard to see through, the mud that you guys were currently in starts to almost disappear as if you're surrounded by just pure whiteness. Until PB&J, you see a hag with toad-like features relaxing in a pool of water, while miniature versions of herself pretty much hold a ladle and pour water over her in her head and shoulders. And this is what you only see.
Oh no.
And I need everyone else to roll me a d8.
So I just see
Oh
this.
my
Like,
God.
it's just like something I see in the whiteness. You're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, not 2d8.
Nice.
Well, she's certainly peaceful.
I got another 6.
Okay. So I will go with Fee and Yanara. You both are seeing this vision together as you're looking around, kind of confused, looking at this whiteness around you. And as you're looking, you notice a very tall yet thin figure wearing a pointy black hat and a hooded black cloak that climbs a rickety staircase leading up to a large, ramshackle house built on stilts. And as the figure approaches the house, their shadow seems to be what looks to be detached from their body and moves across the walls of the house and then slowly crawls through an open window before that vision fades away. Moving on to Tomoros. Tomoros, while this is happening, you see two oddly shaped figures swimming in murky water, and they're kind of like circling in almost like in a predatory circle around some rocks and very large pools of water before that vision fades away. Man normally known as sorcerer. You see rows upon rows of severed heads that seem frog-like in appearance, all impaled on spikes. But surprisingly, they're talking to each other. One overlapping the other and croaking and bickering, and just their eyes going everywhere in every direction before that vision starts to fade away.
A refund on my dream or vision. It's terrifying.
Yeah, you see a short, mean-looking old woman wearing a crimson cape, a leather apron, and iron boots, while holding a cleaver and chopping into a very large portion of meat onto a very dry yet somewhat damp kitchen table before that vision fades away. And finally, Brandywine. Brandywine, you too see a frog-like creature, bed-decked in the trappings of a monarch, constantly adjusting its ill-fitting crown on a bed of lily blossoms while leafing through a large tome that's spread across his dark green and boiled-like legs before that vision fades away. And as that whiteness gathers around you, you find yourselves back into the mud and bubbles and green mist again.
Anyone else see that?
What about Televar?
Sir Televar, that is a good question. I will roll him a d8.
And what did my
What about the
detective
ox?
pick up during all that?
Yeah, what does the ox
The
see?
ox. Well, let me roll a d8 for the ox if you want to, Tomoros. Or I could do it for you.
I got it.
What's
Once
the
we're
detect
talking about the
magic?
ox, did Bippy see what I see?
Bippy can roll her own if you want to do it that way.
Sure.
Don't know why it's a mud, but it's actually Sir Televar that's doing that.
You've got a mud method selected.
Yeah, I noticed. Bippy shares the same vision as sorcerer, no man known as sorcerer. And same with Dumbledore.
At this point, we have an adventuring party of pets.
As for Sir Televar, he sees a headless, child-sized scarecrow with a metal lobster claws for hands, trying on different heads that look like pumpkins to squash to watermelons, and including an upside-down wooden bucket for and a withered head of cabbage. But then it finally decides to choose the pumpkin instead, before that fades away.
Inside of which is a kobold's head.
But yes, after everything fades back to where you currently are now, how do you guys react?
Where'd the meat go?
Did my detect magic pick up anything during this?
Did my detect magic pick
hallucinogen?
up anything during this?
In your vision, Gek, you felt something somewhat magical and also dark. Like, don't know for sure what it is, but it seems a little evil. As for you, PB&J, you definitely felt magic as you were spying on this toad-like creature taking a bath with tiny versions of herself. Because you've seen these creatures before as you were in the mystery mine, but they named themselves a Lornling.
Did everyone see some sort of vision or something in the mist?
Meat.
I saw a weird child thing with lobster claws.
I saw some things swimming around in the mud.
Oh,
Saw tortured frog heads and spikes, but they were talking.
Statement. It seems we have been under the effect of some form of illusory magic.
Yes, it seems so. Well, I saw it was that weird green-skinned person we saw back in the mine. She was being bathed, and then there was someone in a black cloak that seemed to have a weird shadow. It didn't seem attached to him.
I think I saw the same thing.
Huh.
What did you say, my bovine compatriot?
He's patting the ox on the head.
Did you roll for the ox?
I did.
Where did
D8.
you roll? A D8?
It was D8.
That's all the exact same thing.
Yeah, he saw the exact same thing as the severed frog heads talking to each other on spikes. And he just looks at you.
Wow,
Pretty
that's
much.
fucked up.
I was gonna say, if you want me to voice him, I could voice him, or you could
No,
voice your own.
I think it's funny if I just relay whatever he's saying.
Okay. Yeah, everyone else pretty much hears that voice, but you hear what the vision was.
I saw a severed head in the swamp. It was disturbing.
Like a wildermyth.
Well, it seems whether perhaps it's the magic of this witch Bavlorna or whatnot. I don't know.
I don't think this is Balvorna's magic. I think this is actually the land itself trying to tell us something. That's my opinion, anyways.
Well, it could be a little bit less cryptic next time, but no matter. I think we should probably leave this place. Can we? I think
sounds like a good idea.
Yes, we can brainstorm along the way.
Right, think Telemy Hill. Think of hills. And a goblin. I don't know what this goblin looks like, actually. I just know the name.
What does Telemy Hill look like?
Hills.
Are they the only hills?
Well,
there certainly must be something unique about
Is there something built?
Let me. It's coming back to me. It's been a while since I've been here, but I remember the sense of sweet-smelling fruit and damp, downy, silvery green moss of gentle upward slopes and craggy ridges along the hills.
And if I remembered it correctly, there were also some trees dotting along the hillside, swaying as if there was a breeze, but there was none. Yeah, that's what I remember.
Brandy would have made hand motions over to Yanara, like, please write this down. Scribble, scribble. Hand gestures.
Fee would have written
Oh,
it
if I
down.
have anything. Yeah.
Fee
I
had
don't
You're
think
a
I have anything
bard.
right
You have
down.
good memory, right?
Let's think about this.
Let's say yes, I guess. I have a negative int. I don't know if that applies to memory, but
You can certainly try.
Negative end character takes keen mind.
I'm a genius. Oh no.
I remember everything perfectly. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's what I remember, and I know the hill itself is kind of quite ancient, quite foreboding in there. Well, it's not of this land, but is part of the land. Does that make sense? No? No takers?
Well,
I'm at a loss.
this is the Feywild. Everything seems a little bit strange or mystical or not of what we're used to. So, if you say it's of the land and not of the land, I don't.
Well, just think of those sweet-smelling scents and glossy hills, and maybe then we'll find it.
Okay.
All right, everybody, close your eyes and just chant all together. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, and he's holding up his fingers as he's counting down.
Wait,
and he looks.
why are we chanting?
And then he stops. We're trying to concentrate on the same image here. Okay, keep up, boy. Keep up. All right. Start from the beginning.
While x equals 1, display image.
You can do that?
Requesting access to AI-generated software, AI art-generated software for compilation of details of styling, hills, and other.
PB&J is the internet.
Oh no.
we're in trouble.
If the internet was a cleric.
And desired peace? Oh dear.
Initiate protocol
roll me
34.
an intelligence check, PB&J.
Intelligence. My dump stat.
Sorry. Can I point out that Gex status effects, it literally looks like a dude eating a leg of ham. I'm sorry, I just had to point that out.
He's hungry. He's hangry. It's on
Yeah,
his
he's a
mind.
hungry boy.
You try to focus on this image, but then your other compute of downfall comes back through.
Nightmare.
The
Here's
recursive.
another loud explosive fuse pop.
Tomaros, what is going? I thought I fixed that.
Why are you looking at me for?
The other P name. Sorry.
It's okay.
Error. Recursive loop. Not enough RAM.
Whatever that is, just close your eyes, or whatever you do with your eyes there, metal friend, and try to think of sweet-smelling scents and glossy hills. All right.
We have an ox here. Will that substitute for ram?
Oh dear. And he just sees Sir Tulliver just front palming his face and slowly writing it down.
So,
Sweet smelling scents
I'm sorry,
and
can I
glossy
ask,
hills.
So I actually wanted to say, like, to kind of aid us in this, maybe. What kind of smells did he say?
He just said sweet smelling.
Okay, well, can I press to digitate a sweet smelling odor around us?
Sure.
I couldn't get in on that
help
too.
us out.
I also have
okay.
a wand of prestidigitation.
PB doesn't know what scents are, so this will be fun.
Everybody has a
Everyone
spell,
here is
apparently.
wearing a rebreather mask, except for Tomaros, who is wearing he's holding his breath.
And PB is just looking around, not breathing. Just.
Alright, so you were immediately surrounded by sweet-smelling sounds despite having old cheese in the air.
Sweet smelling sounds.
It smells!
It's been a long week. Oh my god, Craig.
It can make a scent.
God, we're all just.
So there is a
Plethora.
cloud of different sweet smelling scents all
Or
around
you
us.
could have the static visual effect be glossy hills.
Nope.
Yeah, I
Cloud
would
of
say
difficult sweet smelling scents. That would smell sweet to everybody.
pretty much.
Oh,
So
the recorded message.
you're getting different sense of what could be floral, what could be apples, what could be candy, and or just sweet pastries, and that's all coming all together. And as you all close your eyes, trying to focus on these various smells and trying to ignore the old cheese fart smells around you. Eventually, the mist starts to form back around you, swirling and swirling until the image of the marsh gaslands starts to form the description of what Sir Talivar described, and you are now at Telemy Hill.
Hey, it worked.
Oh. So, Televar, is this the right place?
Hold on, I'm seeing mist.
Hold on, all I see is darkness, which is strange because normally I see the light.
I attack the darkness.
My character is dark vision. I have dark vision. Is it dark vision? Dark vision. I'm a PC. I have to say I have dark vision.
I have devil sight.
I have to copy and paste. 1 second while the GM goes to it.
I have table sight. I can see what's going on at the table.
Actually, GM, I have dark vision. The dark vision.
You cannot see because everything is bright light.
It's terrifying.
Actually, I have light vision.
I have GM vision. I can see behind the
I
GM
have
screen.
GM fiat blindness.
Actually, Zerg is in the same room as the GM. You can run over to her computer.
Oh, that's right. No, she has a stick that she beats me with if I start getting over there to the peek
Good.
over
Have a
her
cup.
shoulder.
Good.
Oh, she has Sentinel in real life then.
Yeah,
Polar
and
Master.
Polar Master.
She has very good aim.
Thwack!
That's it's
Oh,
Wilderness
you should
Sentinel.
be
She leaps 2
seeing
spaces to hit
the
you.
new
Oh,
map,
gosh.
right?
Yes, we can see it.
Wonderful.
Follow
So,
me.
as you all, yes, you do find yourselves looking around. You see the ridges, you see trees, and you do smell that very fragrant of sweets in the air, as it's actually fruits that you're actually smelling, from apples to cherries to raspberries, poison berries.
I'll take a poison berry, please.
I smell nothing.
You know, fix your
You just see
olfactory
trees.
receptors.
But yes, Sir Televar looks at all of you. This looks like the place. Nothing really has changed besides trees getting taller. That's what trees do, right?
Sometimes.
Why, you've seen
Eventually.
something else?
Sometimes they eat people.
Where did you come from?
Oh, deep within forest.
Well,
A
we're,
very old one.
But, yes, this is the place. All we have to do is follow the trail upwards, and then eventually we'll find the mountainside where Jingle Jangle should be there.
well, Onward, I say.
You
Yeah.
know, if we have more people on this ox, we can move faster.
Nemesis or whatever it's called.
So,
Oh,
as you are walking alongside, you do notice that some of the trees are pretty much moving,
Jeez.
as if there is a breeze, but there is no breeze.
Nature check?
Sure, roll me a nature check.
Are the apples on these trees?
There are apples to
Oh god,
oranges.
no.
Oh no.
Do I get
Jack climbs the
advantage,
tree.
perhaps?
Yeah.
To what?
Nature check because I'm a druid.
Sure.
Jack's also going to try climbing one of these trees to get some apples.
Yeah,
Query.
you can't. You can
Wow.
only get 10 feet.
Young lizard thing.
5, 10.
What is this place?
Jack is gonna yank.
Okay, so yeah, so Phoebe, anyone else want to do a nature check as you pass by these trees?
I'll try it. Would I get any kind of advantage since Faye?
You are, yes, you are from the Feywilds. You may have a
My detect magic
sorry.
picking up anything.
You are picking magic further down this ridge.
Hey!
So is Gek.
Does Divine Sniff pick anything up?
Are you using your divine sniff?
I will use my Divine Sniff.
We come to a new area. Everyone looks around very closely. Should change the picture to Divine Sniff, make it a nose.
Yeah.
Okay, the only thing you are sensing with your divine sniff, Tomaros, is the ox that's underneath you, that's celestial, as well as the Brandywine, who is celestial.
Anyone should be on the ox. I shouldn't have moved.
Yeah, whoop. There you go. You're on the ox. Same as Sir Televar. And that's it. As for everyone else who rolled pretty high, besides Tolmaros, unfortunately. He's too distracted with his sniffer. I will say that. You all look at this tree, and as it's moving, you recall to a similar tree that you guys all met at the carnival, and you recognize it to be an awakened tree.
What was his name? Northwind?
Northwind.
Hey.
Yes, Northwind the asshole tree.
I think I must not have been here for that.
Hello? Trees?
Would I have noticed anything else since I had a natural 20?
You, with your natural 20, you just look around and you notice that there are more trees down the road going up towards the hill, and then you notice that even the hills are slightly moving.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
The hills are alive. It's earth
Not with the
elemental.
sound of music.
That could
So
be
also,
arranged.
not that I want to create more work for myself, but I do think that Noko said that he was trying to yank to get to the tree. So I'm just trying to be fair.
Okay,
He
so
wants to pee on it like a dog.
So he wants to claim it for apples. He's
There you go.
insatiably hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're whispering out trees, hello trees, Fee.
Yes.
The one closest. Oh boy.
He tosses Yanara over the tree like a counterweight and then
GM,
jumps
how
up.
does this play out?
The leash
So-
snaps.
I was like, he rolled a 4. I've got a chance. No.
You are being led by Gek. So you are being pretty much pulled as Gek is now climbing up this tree. And as this is going on, Fee, you say, hello, trees. you see as one of the trees that Gek is climbing starts to move its hand and grab a hold of him.
Hi, I'm a
And-
Gek.
Tree.
Hi, tree. I'm Gek.
Get down.
Can I have apple?
It's the giving
What
tree.
you give me?
What? No, it's okay. Say again.
What do you give me?
I have shiny rock.
I like rocks.
in exchange, he gives you an apple for the rock.
Thank you.
And then he slowly puts you back down. But before he starts to put you back down, he raises you higher and brings Yunara up into the air.
Oh. Hello?
Yunara has forgotten that she has bound the leash to her wrist.
Just kind of dangling there. Kind of blinks at the tree.
And he's basically said, and pokes you in the stomach.
Ooh, no. This time with her free hand, just hold her hand over her stomach where the tree poked her. Yes, I'm a satyr. You are a tree.
Seen your kind such a long time.
Well, you're seeing one now?
Good.
And he lowers you back down to the ground safely.
It tastes so good in my roots when they die.
Oh my god, Zerg!
Tree's metal.
Kind of blinks at the tree.
What are we, Mario Underground now?
Boom, 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 ba-da-dum, boom, 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 boom.
Wait, is there 2 Tomaroses on the...
There are 2 Tomarosas and 2 brandy wines.
I think they're off to the right of the screen. Just don't
You would
worry about
have to adjust the padding on the map in order to see them.
Nope. Just click them on the monk token bar.
I did delete them, but it's not working.
it. Is there an
There
option
you
to
go.
wipe all PCs? We can drag them back on.
There you go.
You have deleted the
Oh,
one
no.
on the actual map.
So
Did you
delete the other ones.
two? Yeah.
The finger of death, go bird.
You're all
You
dead.
hear like a
The tree yeets Gek.
Just
you hear a
explodes.
cut off scream
He
like
He is ascended. Campaign over.
Nope, he just thought of another place.
The other Gek can get deleted as
it's out
well.
of the sun.
A bunch of purple crystals. A bunch of purple crystals explode, and then out pops the Carnival crew to a very confused collector.
And promptly gets smashed by a towering, muscle-bound satyr wielding a maul.
Oh no.
Where is Tomaros?
On the sun,
Where-
apparently.
Oh, this is so good! Yes!
Tomaros is not on
Actually-
the field right now.
No, I'm not seeing him in my player character sheet.
God.
Where...
Boundary.
Just don't worry about it
And-
at this point.
Yeah,
Okay, you're on there, so that is okay. Anyways, moving on. As you were saying, tree, hello, tree, the one behind you starts to move and starts to bend down to almost like it's going to kneel down, and you see a very gnarled and twisted face looking at you, Fee.
Hello there.
Hello.
We were friends with a certain other tree named I think Northwind.
Don't recognize it.
Right. Sorry. We're here looking for a goblin, I believe, by the name of Jingle Jangle. Do you happen to know this character?
You see its leaves start to almost glisten and weave very excitingly.
We know of Jingle Jangle. Quite friendly. Yes, yes. Quite shiny. So many keys.
Oh well, that's exactly what we need him for. We need one of his keys.
You go up the hill and you'll find her. Be polite, though. Knock on the door so the hilltop will let you in. One other thing. She's quite hungry. You have truffles?
Truffles? No. Where could we get some truffles? Is this her favorite food?
I heard it's her favorite food. Truffles could be found on us.
And it slowly starts to turn its right arm, and you see just a whole bunch of truffles and different mushrooms scattered along its arm.
Oh, well, would you be willing to, but to gift us some of those, perhaps?
Mm-hmm. What do you give me in return?
Oh, well, do you have a favorite, well, smell or, color or,
I don't smell.
Oh, that's right. You are a tree. What about, I do have some of these, small rocks that, ignite and they shine a little bright light. Would you like one of those?
No. Bright, shiny rocks would mean bad things.
Right.
You just immediately just reaches out and looks over you, kind of like tossing your hair a little bit.
Like your hair.
Oh no.
Oh, would you like a few locks? I can cut you some.
Yes, I would like your hair.
Oh, okay.
And she kind of reaches up, and there's one. She grabs. Most of it's tied into a fairly thick braid along her back, but she goes and grabs up, and there's some that scatter as it's a messy braid, and she'll grab some of the ones maybe closer to her forehead and pulls out her little scalpel and slices off probably 20, 30 hairs in kind of a nice little red bundle, and you see her quickly braid it into kind of a little hair braid and then hands it to the tree.
I hope this is okay.
It'll do nicely.
And it carefully starts to get it out of your hands and then brings it really high up into the leaves. And you notice that there's several bird nests that it particularly tries to weave your hair into it.
Oh, okay.
Such lovely hair for the bird.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I have a lot of it, as you see, but, well, thank you. How many of these truffles may I take?
It brings its hands down before just taking its one hand and slowly just almost like in a very slow fashion starts to cut off all the mushrooms and then it just piles on top of you.
Oh. Whoa, that's a lot. Thank you so much. Do you have a name that I can call you by?
Call me anything you like. I don't have a particular name.
Oh, well.
You're nameless. We wonder where the hill roams.
Well, I think I will call you Truffle Braid. Would you like that name?
I like that name. Yes, very nice.
Great.
Kind of pats the side of the tree.
Well, thank you, Truffle Braid. I need to go now.
She kind of like starts collecting up all the truffles.
Gek! Gek!
Yeah?
I need your help. I have a lot of truffles to carry.
I have an apple.
You know, are you being led still?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
What is the other you guys doing as this is going on?
I'm holding Televar over my head to see if he can spot his friend.
What PB always
He-
does.
You know, Brandywine, I am partial to apples.
P-Spot just holding up the dehydrated, remains of another tree.
Brethren, how dare you?
And you just see the one in front of you, PB and J, grab you by the arm and starts holding you up in the air.
His eyes just kind of like grow, kind of like not aggressive, but furrowed for lack of a better word. Even though he doesn't have brows, which is like narrow. That's the word. Narrow. Query: do you not desire peace?
How can a man
no.
come with peace when you show us our dead brethren as a piece of paper?
Statement: your brother knows true peace.
Oh no! I'll show you true peace.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
What is happening?
I have an apple.
Fee's over here making friends and naming trees, and P-Spot is over here about to start a fight with a tree.
Nope. P-Spot's gonna depending who gets to go first. P-Spot's gonna cast command.
Sign.
My God.
Huh?
Okay, well, I am going to see how this is gonna go.
Oh my God.
Can't really. You know what? We'll just do this. Where is my initiative thing? Come on! Ah!
Oh no.
All right.
Salty.
You should be able to see in the tab.
Oh, yep.
Thank God.
The one time I roll a fucking 20 in this game, I'm fighting trees.
Prepare
Hey man, you
for
ever seen Lord of the
peace.
Rings? Trees can fuck you up. This is good.
Oh boy. Ah, you gotta
Trees
love
ain't
it.
nothing to fuck with.
Okay. So, does that mean I get my turn?
It's Certs. Yeah, you get to go first.
Oh my God.
Hmm.
What is happening?
I'm guessing it's not considered a humanoid, right?
Nope.
Okay, so I can't do that, but I will cast command.
Hey, what do you command it?
Grovel.
Okay. So, with you in its hand still.
You do realize that those are suggestions. Those are suggestions.
Oh,
No,
boy.
command is it has to be a one-word command.
All right, so
I think what Zerg is saying is that like there's suggestions on
Fine.
how to use the spell.
Oh, I
You
don't
just say
care. Grovel
fine.
works perftly. Because it can't grab me while prone, and it's gonna bow before me as I present the piece of
It's
paper,
a tree.
and it will grovel.
you are currently in the air, and you tell it to grovel, and immediately you just hear this, and as it starts to fall forward, going to knock itself prone, and you're also feeling the gravity pulling at you too.
I mean, I can't imagine it lifting me that high. And I mean, if it's prone, I don't
well.
think he can be grabbing me.
No, but it's a description. I'm not saying
Okay.
you're taking damage or anything.
Okay.
It's slowly going down onto its knees, and then you feel gravity coming at you, and then you feel your feet hit the ground in a weird, awkward angle as you're kind of being skirted across as it goes onto its knees, and you just hear a very kind of very, very bad Sylvan foul language going off in your way. Who here speaks Sylvan?
I do.
I do.
You just hear Yanara and Brandywine. You fucking twat! I will burn you.
Good thing
Tree
Priest
saying he'll
doesn't
burn
understand
someone?
that.
Oh, wow.
It has plenty of kindling. It can make it happen.
Ah, yes.
Larry,
Pure
All right, so it
do you
is
wish to
not
do
prone.
this the easy way or the hard way, Tree?
It just looks at you. Just see its head or its bushel of leaves kind of like rake across your face, not taking damage or anything, but it's trying to look at you at this weird angle.
Couldn't hear that.
I hate metal.
Statement. That is fine. I only desire peace, one way or another. And he turns to Brandywine. Prepare flame, if need be.
Jesus Christ. It hears that, and then you just hear the very loud groaning sound going wide, and then you hear the echoes of the other trees start to groan the same way.
Oh no!
PB&J.
Even truffle braid?
Even poor Truffle Bay.
No, truffle braid. He was my friend.
But
I mean, anyone can step in, I suppose. PB just wants a signature on his paper, and apparently they took great offense to that.
I gave him rock. Of course, took offense. I just gave him a piece of paper made out of them.
Are we still in initiative, or what's the?
You're still in initiative.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, and he's just
you
going.
told Brandy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean that's the end of my turn. I cast my spell. Is it still holding on to me, or did it drop me, or like am I free as the result of not?
You're
being...
free to move.
Okay.
You're free to move, but it's just knocked prone.
Yeah, PB just takes a step back and holds forward the paper again.
Which mocks us. Mocks us, mocks us, mocks us. Precious. Kill.
Right. With that, you hear those echoes of kill going along the hills. Does not seem well, and Sir Talavar looks back at all of you. What have you done? We were just walking peacefully. What have you done?
Why are we fighting the trees?
Statement. I do not know. I merely asked for
my
peace,
friend.
and it responded with violence.
It's a tree.
Yeah, brother. It's a tree. You may think it's violence, but it's not violence, you know? Like, you ever see people riled up at a sports stadium? How agitated they get? They're still peaceful, even as they're throwing popcorn into the field.
Oh, did you say popcorn?
Statement. That would not stand. This unit must bring peace to the entire stadium in such a scenario.
No, brother. It's not the right way.
PB&J cast Spirit Guardians in that case.
There's still peace in the stadium. They just express it differently. You need to expand your definition of peace to understand what peace really is. So he puts his hand on PB&J's shoulder.
And with that, we're probably rolling for initiative, right?
I don't know. It's kind of up to what the trees are doing, because honestly, that tree loses its turn, so it's
Yeah, technically the only thing that it could do is fall prone and end its turn. So
Yep. So, depending on how, if you want to talk the trees out of not attacking you all. Otherwise, yes, I will require everyone to roll initiative.
All right, let me try a persuasion
um,
roll. I'm gonna saunter on over to the nearest non-prone tree.
that's all about the one I pulled a grovel.
I think that we'd need to convince the one that's groveling, honestly.
Actually, you know what? That's fair.
Hold on.
Baby, can you apologize to this tree that you have wronged? He was peacefully minding his business, being a tree.
And did you show the piece of paper? Tree. We're sorry, and that piece of paper is actually made from a very evil tree. No, it wasn't a good tree. It wasn't a regular tree. It was from a very evil tree, and it would have been a shame to have let it be just laying in the forest, useless after it was killed.
Yes,
Is
a
that
cotton
perception?
tree. A racist cotton tree.
Is that a persuasion or a good?
Arborist.
Roll
PB
me
kind of
a deception with.
Well, can PB also try and amend this a little bit by just going? He hears everyone complaining about the paper being the problem, and he kind of looks down at the paper, looks over, and realizes kind of the, I guess, discordance it's causing, despite the fact he doesn't understand why this thing is mad that his brethren found peace.
His self-awareness
equivalent
subroutine.
about the equivalent of him rolling his eyes. He walks over, pulls out a bolt, one of his crossbow bolts, reaches out his arm, and then just etches in peace into his arm, and then puts out his arm and offers the bolt. Query: does this method of offering peace and signing suffice? No paper or tree was harmed in the making of this contract.
Looks at you in confusion. Roll me a persuasion. PB&J.
Can I guidance myself for it?
You can guidance yourself for it if you like.
Does he get advantage for the fuss that we're also making?
You're making deception rolls.
You're trying to lie to a tree.
Hey, Nox, what's
I need you to pass my turn so I can target myself.
Yes. There you
Deception
go.
charisma, right?
Guidance. Why can't I target myself?
I'm not proficient, Zerg, but I'm pretty good.
How do I target myself?
I'm giving
So
you
just
advantage.
see the target icon up in the top left, the one that looks like a bullseye.
Yeah.
Click that and then
there we
click
go.
yourself.
Okay. And then
Alternatively, right-click
guidance.
twice.
I tried that and it brought up my sheet.
Oh.
And then we will do. You said persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
Ha. I'm guessing normal. I'm assuming normal, not advantage or disadvantage.
I will say you get advantage because, yes, Brandywine and Tomeros is trying to deceive the tree.
I mean, I also just etched into my own arm.
Yes,
Why
that
is
too.
it rolling double d4s?
Why'd you roll 2d4?
I don't know.
I gotta fix guidance. It's rolling double d4s.
Okay, can I say that I'm gonna retcon my deception a little bit, saying maybe it's cotton paper from a racist cotton tree, because I don't think Tomoros lies ever.
Yeah, so it should just be -3 from that roll. So what, 18?
Okay.
18. Please let that be enough. I don't want to fight trees.
It looks at you, still in that groveling position, but then it moves its head away, and you slowly watch it as it starts to move upwards and takes one of its finger limbs and grabs the bolt. It will suffice.
Please take this as our...
An arm, I suppose.
Please take this as our humblest apologies.
And he saunters up on the ox and just starts glowing iridescently in its general. He opens his visor and just starts glowing in this direction.
What did it sign on my arm, or what did it do into my arm? I suppose.
It took the bolt, but it didn't sign anything yet.
Oh.
It's slowly catching itself up before it gets blinded by some light.
It's not in sunlight.
Take this and photosynthesize!
It flinches slightly before it goes and grabs your arm, PB&J, and starts to write in what looks appear. It's an odd way where it's trying to write in your arm versus its signature, because you don't understand Sylvan, but it literally wrote down its name in Sylvan. But if you were to pronounce it, it's tree-ish.
Okay. He's content with this.
So it would take like 3 days to say.
But eventually it lets go of you and then pushes you away, far away from it. Oh.
Your
Good
ox
boy.
constipated there, Nuts?
No, that's Entish. That's how they say hello.
As it pushes you away, it starts to groan again, and then you hear the echo groans of the other trees. And the one called Truffle Braid starts to relax slightly and creak before going back into its formal formation as it was standing up and going back to as if it's swaying in the breeze.
Goodbye, Truffle Braid. Thank you for the truffles. I'll come back and visit again sometime too.
Man, it really doesn't want any of my sunlight. Maybe it is racist.
Oh dear.
What?
So, PB, can we say I'm pretty sure this tree just speaks for all the other ones. If you want to, then you don't have to ask each individual tree about signing for peace.
It's the Lorax that speaks for the trees.
Query.
I
He looks at the
suggest
tree. He looks at the tree. Do you speak for the other trees for this contract?
Oh my God.
No.
I speak for the trees. Let's move it. All right, let's go. Leave the tree alone.
Says the DM NPC.
Oh, you suddenly get very articulate, tree. Awesome.
That was Sir
Televar.
Tulliver.
He actually
Oh.
speaks common. He just wants you out of his face.
Before we piss it off anymore, let's just continue our way up to the hill, please.
Yes. Tomiros is going to grab PB by the scruff of his neck, or I guess like the back of his plating, and just like drag him along next to the ox.
Yes, carry on now. They have signed the contract.
I will save you all the time and energy, so 1 second.
Eat.
A crack in the hill.
1 second. There we go.
Oh, I saw
Much
something
better.
in there.
I too saw something in there.
Just keep clicking the door. I bet it'll do something.
Of course. You're gonna keep clicking the door? And I will say before we open the door, we'll end the session for tonight and pick up from there.